Hello and good morning to you. This is Dr. Bill Bledsoe with Morning Prayers and Sacred Heart Yoga. Welcome. We'll begin by prayer. God, I thank you for this wonderful method of prayer, of communing with the oneness, of body movements, of praying aloud our heartfelt prayers. And I thank the generations that have brought this to us. The house of Abraham, the house of David, Jesus, his mother Mary, his father Joseph, Mary Magdalene, and Virginia Ellen, who wrote the book, Sacred Heart Yoga, so anybody in the world can practice this ancient method of prayer anytime they want. Now, if you'll repeat after me, we'll do the Sacred Heart Yoga prayer. Beloved, I devote this practice this day to the evolution of my soul, to the fulfillment of my destiny, in service to the One, and I give thanks. I allow myself to be purified as I rejoice in the kingdom of heaven and the love of God. And I give thanks for these blessings, these moments I share with my body and my spirit in oneness. And so it is. Amen. Now we're going to clear our energy fields. It means clear our minds of distractions. And we start by putting it's a motion, put our hand up to the 12 o'clock position, slowly move over to the 3 o'clock position. Our right knee, left knee, back over to the 9 o'clock and back up to the 12. And as we do this big arc, repeat after me these words. I clear my energy field of anyone or anything standing within. I bless them and I send them to the light. Now we're going to ask God, how may I serve you this day? And as we listen, we'll get an answer. I usually get just one or two words, and then I dedicate pretty much the rest of the prayers to what the answer was that came to me. And so we take our right hand over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, how may I serve you this day? Now we'll stand and we'll announce what came to us for service as our intention. So we stand up straight and tall, our palms forward, and here our prayers begin with, God, my intention to serve you this day is to Om. Now we sit back down and lay down on our backs. We'll pull our right knee up to our chest. And here our prayers begin with, Father, I love you for, and Father, I thank you for. Om. Now we hold our right foot with our left hand and pull it over to our left thigh, letting our right knee fall down to the mat. And this time our right arm goes straight up above our heads, down to the mat, stretch down as far as we can. And here our prayers begin with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now we switch hands. We take our right foot in our right hand and pull it down to our pelvis. And our left arm this time goes straight above our heads and down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now we point our right foot up towards the heavens, our left arm still extended above our heads and down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you. Om. Now we let our arms extend straight out from our shoulders, palms up and down to the mat. And our right leg goes up to the heavens and falls out to the right side of our body, opening our pelvis as wide as we can as it falls down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you for. Om. Now we turn our heads to the right, and that right leg crosses over our bodies over to the left side, down to the mat, keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Father, I love you. Father, I thank you for. Om. Now we go back to resting position, legs outstretched, arms at our sides, and we pull our left knee up to our chest. And here our prayers begin with, Mother, I love you. Mother, I thank you for Om. Now we hold our left foot with our right hand, pulling it over to our right thigh, and let our left knee fall. We pull our left foot in our right hand over to our right thigh, let our left knee fall down to the mat. Our left arm goes straight above our heads, out and down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Mother, I love you. Mother, I thank you for Om. Now we switch hands. We take our left foot in our left hand, holding it down near our pelvis, and our right arm gets stretched out straight above our heads and down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Mother, I love you. Mother, I thank you for Om. Now our left foot points up towards the heavens, keeping our right arm straight out above our heads and down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Mother, I love you. And Mother, I thank you for Om. Now we let our arms extend straight out from our shoulders, palms up and down to the mat. And our left leg goes up to the heavens and falls out to the left side of our bodies, down to the mat. And we open our pelvis as wide as we can. And here our prayers begin with, Mother, I love you. And Mother, I thank you for Om. Now we turn our heads to the left, and our left leg goes across our bodies over to the right side and down towards the mat, keeping our shoulders down on the mat. And here our prayers begin with, Mother, I love you, and Mother, I thank you for Om. Now Now we go back to resting position, legs outstretched, arms at our sides, and we pull both knees up to our chest, holding them there with our hands and arms. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you, and I thank you for all. Now we take our right foot in our right hand, our left foot in our left hand, and pull the soles of our feet together down near our pelvis. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we pull our feet apart down near our pelvis, and our prayers begin with, God, I love you. God, I thank you for all. Now both feet point up towards the heavens. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you, and God, I thank you for all. Now we let our feet fall down to the mat. Our arms get extended out to the sides, straight out. And this time our palms are down as they stretch out into the mat. And we take our heads and we bend them to the left, and our knees bend to the right. And keeping our shoulders down flat on the mat, here our prayers begin with, God, I love you and I thank you for all. Now we turn our heads to the right and our knees go across our body over to the left side. And here our prayers begin with, God, I love you. God, I thank you for all. Now we go back to resting position, legs outstretched, arms at our sides, and we put our hands under our sit bones, and we lean up on our elbows and try to touch our heads, tops of our heads back down to the mat. And here our prayers begin with, God, I surrender to you. Now we go back to resting position. And this time our left arm points up towards the heavens and falls over to the right side of our body, stretching our shoulder. And we take our right hand halfway between our left elbow and left shoulder and pull it, stretch it farther. And here our prayers begin with, God, I choose to. Oh. Now we switch arms. Our right arm goes up to the heavens, stretches out, falling over to the left side of our bodies. And we take our left hand halfway between our right shoulder and right elbow, stretching our shoulder farther. And our prayers begin with, God, I can. Om. Now we go back to resting position and we pull our feet up to our pelvis and put the soles of our feet together, letting our knees fall out to the sides. And this forms a tabernacle, a house of God below our bodies. And we form a second tabernacle by putting our hands in prayer position over our hearts and extending them up 2/3 of the way to the heavens. And in this tabernacle, we find God's beautiful chalice, and it's filled with any gift that we could ever desire, ever want, ever need, being in the service to God, to the one, to the oneness. And here our prayers begin with, God, I drink from your chalice, your gifts of Om. Now we take our hands, still in prayer position, over our heads and down to the mat, our elbows falling out to the sides, and this forms a tabernacle over our entire bodies. And here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for this body, this mind, this spirit, and this soul. Om. Now we start the anointing series where we anoint gifts from God 3 different times. You can anoint the same gift over and over again or whatever you choose. We take our thumbs up to our foreheads, our hands always in prayer position in the anointing series. And here our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts of Om. Now we move our hands down to our lips, and our prayers begin with, God, I bless your gifts of, and I dedicate them in service to you, to the one. Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for your gifts of Om. Now we point our fingers down to our abdomens, and we extend our hands out to the 3 o'clock position and 12 o'clock position. It's a motion. And as we make this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts of Om. Now we take our thumbs back to our foreheads, beginning the second out of 3 in the anointing series, and our prayers begin with, God, I anoint your gifts of Om. Now we take our thumbs down to our lips, and our prayers begin with, God, I bless and dedicate in service to you your gifts of Om. Now we take our hands down over our hearts, and our prayers begin with, God, I truly thank you for these gifts of Om. Now we take our fingers and we point them down into our abdomens, and we extend them out to the 3 o'clock and 12 o'clock position. And as we make this movement, our prayers are, God, I truly fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts of Om. Now we do the third and final in the series of anointing, taking our thumbs to our forehead, our hands always in prayer position during the anointing series. And here our prayers begin with, God, I anoint this gift of Om. Now we move our thumbs down to our lips, and our prayers begin with, God, I bless and dedicate this gift of in service only to you. Om. Now we do the motion where we point our fingers down towards our abdomens and pelvis, extending our arms out to the 3 o'clock and 12 o'clock positions. As we do this motion, our prayers begin with, God, I fill my body, my mind, my spirit, and my soul with your gifts of Om. Now we go back to resting position, arms at our sides, legs outstretched, and we cross our right ankle over our left ankle. Our right wrist crosses over our left wrist, over our hearts. And here our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for your protection, your safety. Om. Now we go back to resting position, and we roll over on our sides and push ourselves back up into sitting position using our arms and our hands. Now we take our right leg straight out in front of us. Our left foot comes over our right knee, and we hold our left knee with our right arm. Our left arm goes behind our backs for support, and we twist our head and shoulders to the left. Here our prayers are, desire I am, desire I am, desire I am. I desire. Om. Now we switch legs. Our left leg goes out in front of it. Our right leg, our right foot crosses over our left knee. And we hold our right knee with our left arm. Our right arm goes behind our backs as we twist hard to the right. Our prayers begin with, will I am, will I am, will I am, I will. Om. Now we get up on our knees. And we put our hands in prayer position over our hearts. Our prayers begin with, God, I thank you for Om. Now we go back to sitting position. No, we don't, not yet. Now we put our tips of our thumbs together and tips of our fingers together, and we put our heads down, foreheads down on the mat in this tabernacle that we form with our thumbs and fingers. And here we just feel God's presence filling every cell in our bodies. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. Our right leg goes out to the right side. Our left foot comes up to the inside of our right thigh. And our prayers begin with, God, I am. Om. Now we take our left foot out to the left side, our left leg, and we take our right foot up into the inside of our right thigh. And here our prayers begin with, God, I am. Om. Now we go back to sitting position. This time we sit up straight and tall. Our palms are both on each knee, palms up. Our thumbs touch our middle two fingers. Sitting straight and tall, we bow at our pelvis forward, and our prayers begin with, I bow to my humanness, my mind, my body, my spirit, and my soul. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall again, and we bow a second time at our pelvis, leaning forward, keeping our back straight. And here our prayers are, God, I bow to you, to the Father, to the Mother, to the One, to the oneness. Om. Now we sit back up straight and tall. And we feel where we're grounded down to the mat with where our pelvis touches on both sides, the left and right side of our pelvis, grounded. And we feel on the left side of our pelvis, the mother's wonderful white light of purity, of love, of nurturing, of creating new cells within our bodies, of creating new life all around us. We feel this wonderful white light fill our legs, every cell in our legs, with healing, nurturing God's love, filling every cell in our abdomens with the white light, and coming up into our hearts, and our hearts acting like a beacon with the shining white light shining out in all directions. And then the white light comes up into our lungs, into our throats, into our heads. And again, our minds accepting God's love and shining like a beacon out to the world. And then the white light goes out the tops of our heads and up into the heavens and falls down around us, around the whole world. And now we feel on the right side of our pelvis a blue light of the Father's truth, the knowing. And we feel this blue light filling our legs, every cell in our legs with knowing what to do to recreate themselves, to stay young and vigorous. This blue light fills our abdomens with every cell with knowing. And the blue light comes up into our hearts. And again, our hearts shine out like a beacon to all the world around us. And the blue light comes up through our lungs, through our throats, up into our heads. And again, our heads are a beacon of blue light for the world. And then it comes out the tops of our heads up into the heavens and showers down on the earth around us. And now we can step up into the light above our heads. Here we can stay as long as we want. And we ask one question: God, what do I need to know?